We are here at Startup Island. I'm super excited to be here. We're not on an island, we're actually on a lake, but that's totally fine. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm here with Sydney Campos. Sydney, you have the best name I think I've ever come across. Sydney Campos. Tell me, how did this come about? How did you get this gorgeous name, other than your parents just naming you that?
My parents are great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I think my mom was going to be named Sydney, but then for whatever reason, her parents named her Sue Ellen.
Oh,
so,
Sue Ellen.
A little different. So she always wanted to name her daughter Sydney.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, it's a gorgeous name. It's so lovely to meet you. So you found Startup Island on the World Wide Web. You came across their amazing website, which I must say is awesome. It's straight to the point, very easy to navigate, and had some great visuals. And then you met the founders. You met Josh, you met Brian. How was that? How did that come about?
Yeah, I just met Josh. I mean, they're so receptive. They're like, oh, cool. Like, I was surprised to get an email back so fast. And they're like, thank you so much for your nice note. Let's meet. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Let's meet. And we had a coffee. And it was actually just Josh. I hadn't met Brian until I got here.
Okay.
But I had heard so much about him, and we have a lot in common as well. And yeah, and Josh and I just couldn't stop talking. We had so many ideas of like things that, you know, we might want to collaborate on. He's like, you have to come to camp, and some other things. And yeah, and so here I am. It's been a blast so far, and it's wonderful to meet people like that.
And you gave an awesome class this morning in yoga. So so tell me a little bit about you. You're obviously a trained yoga teacher, and you work with entrepreneurs, and you really mentor them and coach them, if you will. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So my background is in creative advertising, public relations, and I left my most recent agency as director of operations. So I was doing a lot of more like logistical recruiting.
Not so glamorous, but
I mean, very glamorous, but a little bit different from, you know, like I've been a producer and a lot of other different things. And I recently started my own company about 3 months ago. It's called Make Only Magic. And so it's I do many different things, but really,
are you a magic maker?
Mainly I'm a magic maker, and I do many things, but throughout everything I do, I support visionary people in creating, you know, their highest vision for their life. And whether that's through a business service or, you know, with themselves, just living, you know, in their healthiest, kind of like highest possibility. So I do holistic life coaching. I'm a yoga instructor. I also use a lot of meditation and spiritual guidance in my work with people. And then I am a marketing advisor and strategy consultant to startups and brands. It's always learning. And I mean, I'm an entrepreneur myself, so it's like the hustle and this constant challenge to be balanced is real, but I can really relate. I can relate to all my clients that way. So it's great.
No, it's fantastic. You have an amazing energy, and I'm not sure if you guys can pick up on this on camera, but you do. Like, after doing your yoga class and just sitting here next to you, I feel very calm and at peace.
How do you create a life that is balanced and where you're doing work that is fulfilling and energizing so that, you know, you're not feeling exhausted by what you're doing?
Right,
you know?
right. So a lot of what you do is almost, lack of a better word, kind of transformative work. So you're, you know,
that's the perfect word.
Yeah, you're like utilizing what they already have and then just building upon that. So I guess what's been a client, and without being specific, but you've seen like such an amazing transformation in like a period of time working with them. Has that happened for you? Do you see that? Do you work with them one-on-one to see that growth, or are you in your incubator stage? Or is that?
So I'm actually like a very hands-on marketing advisor to two different companies. One of whom is SkyHoppr, which you'll learn about here, which is a dear friend of mine. And that's been incredible, and it's such a small team. I'm able to bring in a lot of my personal passion and like holistic background and share that with everyone. And the other one is Loki, which is like it's a new app launching in New York in a couple of weeks, and it's a marketplace that connects travelers and locals to expert guides that can share really cool experiences. So I would say like in those, as opposed to like, you know, my individual clients that I work with on a one-on-one basis, and it is transformational coaching. You know, I've seen so much transformation happen just working with the teams that I'm working with on the small companies right now, the emerging startups. Because we've had to really move so quickly to create prototypes.
You've got to be agile.
Getting ready for fundraising and really just seeing, you know, seeing people really step up to these new levels of just potential. And that's what's so exciting when you're doing something no one's ever done before. You're really... I think we all kind of share this like imposter syndrome sometime of like, wait, do I know what I'm doing here? You hired me because you think I know what I'm doing, do I? But then the more you share that, and you're like, wait, everybody feels this way at some time. So it's wonderful to see. I think that's a transformation in itself, like seeing leaders and people I really look up to, who are my clients, but they're like these super successful business people, have those moments of like, I don't know, I need help, and just getting really creative within that space.
And we all need a lot of help, and as founders sometimes we think we can solve all the problems and do it all ourselves, and often that's not the case. How can people find you? How do they find you on the internet? Like www what?
Yeah, so my company's called Make Only Magic. I'll be making a website for that soon, but for now you can just find me at sydneycampos.com.
Lovely.
And it's funny because my website used to just be a blog, and then I just, for fun, that I've had for years, and I just kind of pivoted it to include a little bit more about what I do, and I think it's a pretty authentic reflection of like everything I'm up to, and it's nice. So yeah, please check it out. I'd love to connect with you. I'm on all the different social channels, and especially love Instagram and Snapchat.
We love Insta. We love a bit of Snap. Oh no, that's awesome. We'll parlay you through all our networks. It's on. And my few more questions, and then we'll wrap up. So, tell me, what's been an experience on Startup Island that has kind of stood up to you? I know we're only in day 2. We have 3 days, but
only
what's been
day
so?
2. Oh
I know, right? There's still more to come.
Feels like it's been a long time.
It does. It feels like it's been a long time. But what's been a highlight, I guess, for you?
Oh, I mean, I'm just blown away by the people that are here. I'm really in awe, and that's a big part of just like the work that I get to do now too. Is like I'm just in awe of people all day. Like amazing, like who wants to come for a weekend and just connect and better themselves and share and help other people, and so that alone is just like I'm floored. I'm amazed. But I would say like last night around the campfire, just like doing that exercise where we all kind of introduced ourselves and shared our intentions and personal goals. I was just so inspired hearing every single person, and my mind was just firing off with all these ideas of like, oh, I can help them with this, maybe they can help me with this, like.
And that's what it's all about, right? And I too really enjoyed that, because you're by the campfire, it's all cozy, you're roasting marshmallows, and you're just like sharing stories, and really authentic stories. So it was fabulous. My last 2 questions, super important. Is there an entrepreneur in the world anyway? It can be family members, it can be loved ones, or it can be an actual entrepreneur that's that you look up to, and you're like, wow, that's kind of like the pinnacle for me.
Wow, interesting. I just had 2 answers come to mind, and they're very different. The first one is like Gabby Bernstein is like this incredible spiritual entrepreneur, and she's just like life coach, speaker, author, just so talented, and just when she speaks, I can hear what she's saying, She like has this way of like delivering information in a way that people really can like grasp. And then you like want to do it, So she's so powerful. I really look up to her. I love what she's created. And then also my mom, she does totally different work than anything I do, but my whole life she's always been this entrepreneur, has always worked for herself, has created businesses. And I'm actually just sharing this for the first time. It just dawned on me that like that's a huge influence on my life.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really love. I'm gonna hug.
Oh yes.
Rama Poola. I just like saying that name. We are sitting here at Startup Island, and we are kind of on an island. We're by a lake, and it's really beautiful, and we'll show you guys that later. You're going to see it in our footage. There's a few little mosquitoes around, but ignore that. Tell me, Rama, how did you find out about Startup Island?
So a good friend of mine is also on this Startup Island retreat with us, and she introduced me to Josh. I had some coffee with Josh, and really like the energy and what he's trying to do here with entrepreneurs and students. I was interested in coming, and I was interested in speaking, so I pitched him an idea, and
it was a fantastic speech. It was very intimate. It was very almost like you were reading us poetry, but you were reading us quotes out of awesome books that you recommend. I'd love to get a list of those books to share them with our followers. Rama, you have quite an elaborate background. This definitely isn't your first rodeo, so to speak, but tell me, you've got SkyHoppr. Tell us about SkyHoppr and where you're at with it.
To give you some background on my side, I've been traveling since I was months old. It's been a huge part of my development as a person. I'm just seeing other cultures and being exposed to things that I'm not here regularly. So I have found that as a valuable part of my life. And then I have friends that haven't had that opportunity. As I was thinking about what was next in my life, this idea kind of fell in my lap. I was in Berlin at the airport and on my way home to New York, and there were a couple backpackers waiting at this kiosk that sort of looked a little frazzled.
As they do. As we will after the... No, we're going to be rejuvenated after this weekend, but yes, carry on.
And I do like to just talk to everybody, so I was talking about what was going on, what they were doing in Berlin or where they're going. They didn't have a ticket to anywhere just yet. They were waiting at the airport for something to fall under 50 euro. They had a list of about 5 cities in their hand, and if any of those fell under 50 euro for a ticket, they were going to go there, and if it didn't, then they were going to go back to doing what they were doing.
So hang on, they were with their backpacks literally just at the airport waiting for the next cheap flight. That's spontaneous. That's living in the moment.
Exactly. So then I got on my flight home, and I recognized that more than half of this plane was empty, and I started sketching the idea for SkyHoppr.
Love the name, by the way, SkyHoppr. How did it come about? I mean, it sounds like one of those names you've heard of before. How did it come about for you?
SkyHoppr, the name. So I was having a really hard time naming this, and I was back and forth with my co-founder over email, about throwing some ideas out there, and nothing stuck. And at like 3 a.m, I couldn't sleep. I was back on my computer. He's in California, so he was up, and then it just came out. I was like, what about SkyHoppr? And he's like, maybe. And then I went and checked the domain was free. Everything I bought the domain.
Buy up quick.
And that was it. It stuck.
It's fantastic. Yeah. So tell me, it's a platform, if you will, or like an app as well, I imagine it's going to be, where you can book last minute seats. So it's filling up that inventory that, big airlines just can't fill for whatever reason, and we can get it at not a discounted price, but a membership model. Is that right?
Correct. On the user side, it's going to be a low monthly subscription. We haven't settled on what that would be, and I want this to make travel accessible. So that is for unlimited one-way flights. You can claim one at a time. It will be a flight within about 48 hours from the current time, and you'll be able to travel a certain radius from your current location, and that's based on your subscription tier. You can take a flight, say from New York to Austin, so you claim that one seat, you get to Austin, and now you have a radius from Austin, and you can then travel to California.
Oh, interesting. So your radius changes as you travel as well.
Exactly.
That's smart. I love this. And what are your tiers? How does it scale?
We haven't settled on the tiers yet. As we're diving into the market, what makes sense for airlines and what makes sense for us, we've got to match at some point.
Yes.
But what we're off it is a platform. So that's the user side. On the airline side, there'll be a platform for them to be able to control what thresholds, how many seats, and what routes.
Right.
So they can basically put these tickets up for our users when it's beneficial to them. And just from the analysis of the industry, 20% of the seats across the world are empty on planes, which is a lot. It adds up to a lot of money. So being able to help them fill those will bring them some revenue, up their load factor, and it'll give these spontaneous travelers this whole new world of
So you realize people are going to be popping up in cities being like, I didn't plan this, but I'm here. Yeah. So a lot of spontaneous travel is going to happen. I love it. Yeah. And there's nothing quite like it in the market, right?
There isn't. We've been doing the market research, and there are so many travel booking sites, but none like this, where there is the level of adventure and exploration with the freelance economy, and people more willing to work out of a cafe for a day or two. There's more opportunity for that.
Absolutely. I think more these days people don't know where they're going to be next week.
Exactly.
Whereas, we used to know we were like kind of chained to that desk, if you will. So there's a lot more flexibility in our lives now. Last 3 questions, all equally important. What has been a highlight? I know we're only on day 2 of the Startup Island, but what's been a highlight for you so far, other than you presenting? Because I know that was a highlight for me, but yes.
Thank you so much. Last night around the campfire, it's been really great to get to know Josh and Brian from Startup Island. I definitely had an instant connection with Josh and really believe in the cause. And around that fire, he asked us, when you were young,
what did you want to be?
What did you want to be? I'll say it on camera here, but I wanted to be a paleontologist on Jupiter, because I really had this love of dinosaurs growing up and astronomy, and it took me a while to realize that Jupiter was a gaseous planet. I knew it was the biggest, so I figured there'd be more dinosaurs there than anywhere else.
Ambitious much. I was like, when we did that exercise, I was like, I wanted to be a nanny. Like, and people were saying the most elaborate things. I'm like, okay, I didn't really think that far out of the box. But yeah, that's fascinating.
That exercise was really great for me. There's this curiosity in me that's still there now. I read a lot, and I find those moments where, once again, I'm in awe of something I didn't know. Yeah. That's what it was for me as a kid.
Yes.
These things of dinosaurs and planets, I was always learning about and in awe of.
Dinosaurs and planets. I'm sorry, guys. I think that gets pretty much everyone excited. Yeah. So you were like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something exciting. So you're definitely on a trajectory in life, that's for sure. You're unstoppable. Is there an entrepreneur in life that you've kind of looked up to, or it might be someone in your family, it might be a partner, it might be someone you met for 5 minutes on a subway, or might be someone we know, that kind of inspires you?
Yeah, I think an entrepreneur that I'm always reading about now is Elon Musk. I think the vision that he has is so far beyond the vision that people have had to date, and he's not afraid to go after it, creating this world where electric vehicles are not only accepted but highly desired, putting spaceships up in space and bringing them back down to put them back up again. He's solving that inefficiency that with space travel that we've had, which now allows his huge dream of having Mars be a launching point for space travel, and
a viable industry. Yeah, exactly.
And that again sparks the kid in me of like, wow, is that possible? I want to believe it, and I see another man believing it and making it happen.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. No, phenomenal stuff. And our last question we ask everyone, are you a blackjack, a poker, or a roulette player? And we're not endorsing gambling. We just want to kind of see what gets you going if you were to gamble.
I would play poker.
Strategy. He likes, Yeah, absolutely calculated. No, I'm joking. You read a lot, so I just want to finish with that. You gave a presentation this morning about all the amazing books you read, and you actually take time out every morning to write in your journal, like 3 pages you mentioned, 5 pages a day, kind of stream of thought stuff, and you read a lot. I want to actually put a list on with this blog post of like recommended books, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs would learn a lot from you, and it's just fabulous to meet you in this beautiful, scenic, idyllic setting. When do we get to do this again? So thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're at Startup Island, in case you forgot, and we're here with Liz Klein. How did you hear about Startup Island?
I was reaching out to tech developers and app developers, tech founders, and I had reached out to Brian actually because he had founded an app. So he was working on an app. I think he's still working on it actually.
We're always working on things here. Yes.
So I had reached out to him about that, and then he had just mentioned Startup Island. It sounded like a really awesome program that he and Josh were working on. I went to check out the website. You were talking about the awesome website, and I saw that they were doing something at a camp. And I grew up at a camp also, so I was just really excited to get in on it. It's been absolutely awesome meeting everybody and seeing what everybody's working on for projects, so it's been really cool.
Right, I know. And we're only in day 2 and there's more to come, and we're going in that lake later. I can't wait. I'm really interested in like what you do and how you help entrepreneurs and founders.
Yeah, so I have a financial background. I'm a CPA. A couple of friends of mine came to me almost a year ago because they had also developed an app. I worked, even before I got involved with the app thing, I worked strictly with small businesses. I love entrepreneur startup stuff. So my colleagues came to me with an app they had developed and just wanted kind of some help on the financial side of things. But I absolutely loved the idea. The 2 of them are a really awesome team, and they brought me on as a co-founder.
Nice.
And it's just been an absolute whirlwind.
What's the name of the app?
The name of the app is Tunefly. Tunefly.
Excellent. So you're a co-founder, you're a CPA, you're doing the juggle.
Tunefly is, easiest way to describe it is Instagram for music. So as opposed to being able to snap a picture, put a filter on it, and share it with your friends, you can do it with a song. So if I have, something I've been working on, and I'm not a major artist, I'm not looking to like gain a following or anything, I just like music. So if I want to play something and share it with my friends, there isn't really right now an option for me to do that on my phone. I've got to get out my computer, I've got to download recording software and mix it and upload it to maybe like YouTube or SoundCloud
it's
or something.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's not very easy for somebody who's just kind of doing it as a hobby. And it's not just for hobbyists, but it's really going to be helpful for them and people like me to kind of share music and get into the scene and
learn. So you're live now
learn
in
about
the App Store?
Yes, we are on iOS only. In the next couple of weeks, hopefully by middle of September, We're going to be on both iOS and Android with our version 2, which we're really excited about.
Look at you! And how long has it been around for?
It's been in development for over a year, but it's been on the App Store since I think like March. So a couple months.
I love the name Toonfly. That's awesome name.
Cool.
So yeah, well, it's all about. I'm a big believer. The name is super important.
Yes,
so you got that right. So you came into it as kind of like their financial advisor. Now you're a co-founder. What has been some challenges you found, I guess, as a co-founder, that you're like, oh, this is like going to be a bit of a headache, and it was maybe, or maybe something even that you thought would be a challenge and turned out, oh no, that was super easy.
I've got one of each. So we actually had a different name. You're talking about the name. We had a different name in the beginning, the trademark issues. So that held us up a little bit. So we had a rebranding in the middle of it. Ran into some. It turned out great. We're happy with it now. Yeah. It's little things like that, kind of like legal bumps in the road, are the ones that frustrate us because none of us
you're trying to launch and suddenly you have to change your name. That's never.
Exactly.